Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm actually very excited to do this video with you guys because oh my gosh, do I have so many amazing books that I plan to read this month. So actually this video is all gonna be about all the books that I plan to read this month. I actually checked out 7 library books this month, and so I'm going to show you guys those books. And usually when I check out library books for the month, I try to even out my ratio. So if I check out 7 books from the library, then I try to read 7 books that I already own. And let me just tell you, my stack is looking a little insane. I actually have 3 books that are still en route to me. They're being mailed to me by my book club. So I'm going to share with you guys those books that I'm really excited to finally grab when they get here. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm actually starting with this book this month. This book is called The Program by Suzanne Young. I'm almost done with this. I actually plan on finishing this book once I'm done filming this video for you guys. This book is insane, okay? It's all about the world being overtaken by this epidemic, and the epidemic is about teen suicide. So all across the world, teens are just deciding to kill themselves and just being completely overtaken by depression. So they create this thing called the program, and they send teens there to completely erase their memory and try to reset them and then send them back out into the world. And it's very interesting. I wasn't too sure that I was gonna like this book. I thought it was gonna be really depressing, but I actually find it to be more interesting than I do depressing. But even more interesting to me is the fact that this author created a 6-book series out of this topic. So that's why I checked out so many library books. I actually checked out this entire series. So I haven't really looked into what the other books in the series are about, because one of my fears with series is that if I read into what the other books in the series are going to be about, I might spoil a book before I even finish it. So I was scared to look into what the second book is going to be about because I was worried it might ruin the first book for me by spoiling something, if that makes sense. So but I'm still going to show you what they look like. I have no idea what they're about, but I'm just going to show them to you guys just in case you're interested in reading the series. So far, I'm into this book enough that I think that by the end of it, I'll be like, oh my god, yes, bring on the second book. So the second book is called The Treatment. Again, have no idea what it's about. Then the third book is called The Remedy. Okay. The fourth one's called The Epidemic. The fifth one is The Adjustment, and the sixth one is The Complication. So I'm really excited to read them and see where she goes with this series, because honestly, I have no idea where she could be taking this. I have a few guesses, but I don't want to give anything away. Last book that I checked out from the library this month is a book called We Are the Ants, and I've seen this being recommended by a few of the really cool people that I follow here on BookTube. And this book is about a 13-year-old boy who gets abducted by aliens, and they tell him that the world is going to end on a certain day, and so he has to return to the earth, and I'm guessing he's gonna try to stop this impending doom that's coming. And I read the first 2 chapters and I thought it was pretty funny, so I'm really excited to get to this when I'm finally done with the series because I plan to read the whole series first, the program series, before I get to this. I may have to renew this book for an extension because I'm just not sure I'll get to it with all these other books that I'm more excited to read. But this I'm still pretty excited to read this. So I also kind of jumped the gun and went ahead and started a chapter of this book also. Well, actually, I'm probably like 100 pages into it. I got way too excited because you guys should know from my last video, I'm obsessed with Taylor Jenkins Reid. So I did start this one. It's called One True Loves, and this book she wrote is about a woman who was completely in love with this guy, married him, um, and they were married for almost a year. And on the day before their anniversary, he um, gets into a plane accident, um, or supposed plane accident, and so she has to go on and try to, you know, live a normal life, but turns out he never actually died. So yeah, I have nothing to say about this right now until I can finish it and see what I feel about it, but I'm very excited to see where this story goes. And I just am so completely in love with Taylor Jenkins Reid right now that I got like way into her books. And you guys know that I'm not really like the Kindle tech person or whatever, but I do own a Kindle, and she made me like charge this sucker up just to read Evidence of the Affair. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. Evidence of the Affair. I have no idea what this story is about, but it was free on Amazon as a Kindle read. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I just give this a shot? So I went ahead and downloaded it. So I'm excited to get to this too. I may not get to it this month though, just because I mean, my Kindle isn't going anywhere. And this kind of looks like a summer read, so I may save this for the summer, but who knows? I may read it this month also. Another book I'm really excited to read is this book called Kilman Creek by Rachel Kane. This is actually the second book in a series. I read her first book, Stillhouse Lake, and to be completely honest, I didn't even go looking for this book. I was bored one day, had nothing to read, and my brother has a bunch of books in his room that are sort of interesting, although I never ever see him read. I just kind of wandered in there and was like, I wonder if I can find something in here that's interesting. And this is a thriller. It's a really good thriller, and it's about this woman whose husband is a serial killer, and he was killing women in his shed, in their shed at their home that they owned together. And she had no idea that he was out there killing women in the shed. And so the husband gets arrested, and the wife gets arrested as well as an accessory. And together the two of them had 2 kids. And so she decides to take off and create a new identity for herself and her children as well. And then, you know, something kind of happens, and then this book came to be. This is the second book in the series. I'm very excited to get to it. I kind of have no idea where she's gonna go with this second book, but I'm very excited to see where it goes. But if you haven't already, I highly recommend Stillhouse Lake. It's such a good thriller. And then I'm sure this one will also be a 5-star read. I gave this book 5 stars when I read it. And I actually already pre-ordered the third book to her series, because this is going to be a 3-book series, a trilogy. So, but I don't think it comes out until later this month or next month or something. Either way, Barnes & Noble is going to ship it to me once it comes out, so I'm very excited for that. Last month I read Before She Knew Him by Peter Swanson, and I told you guys that I was probably going to finish it by the end of the month. I was right. I gave it 4 stars because it wasn't quite a 5-star book for me as far as thrillers go. I'm very picky with thrillers, but it was still good enough that I was like, oh my gosh, this author is something else. He's amazing. So I went and ordered The Kind Worth Killing, this book by Peter Swanson. And turns out my brother owned this one too. I guess the kid likes thrillers. So I returned it to Amazon, ended up keeping my brother's copy, and I'm excited to see what this book is about. I'm definitely putting this on my list because Peter Swanson was, or his book, the one I read, was really good. This one had higher ratings than Before She Knew Him, so I'm hoping that this one will um, really kind of jolt me and make me interested in getting to read some of his other work too, because there were some other ones that people were telling me I should read before even getting to The Kind Worth Killing. But I don't know, something about the storyline just kind of took me by surprise and made me want to read it. So here I am gonna try to read The Kind Worth Killing this month. Let's see if I can get to it along with all these other amazing things. Another one I'm really excited about, I've heard so many great things about it, is this book called The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. I've seen this book literally everywhere. So this book is about a psychic whose specialty is telling people when they're gonna die. And so these four siblings are so interested in it. They're like, oh my God, we have to go. We have to go see the psychic or something. I'm guessing that's what it's about, based off of the back of it. And so they go to the psychic, and I guess she predicts the day they're gonna die. So that's what this book is about. And to me, that just sounds wild. And I love a wild read. So, welcome to my bookshelf, The Immortalists. I've also heard some really good things about some specific memoirs that people wanted me to get to, but one of the ones that I've definitely had my eye on is this book called Educated by Tara Westover. If you guys know me, you guys know I'm a huge fan of Ellen DeGeneres, and Ellen actually had her on her show to talk about this book. Ellen rarely ever has authors come onto her show to talk about books. So to see that this was on there, I was like, oh my God, this must really be as amazing as everybody's saying it is, because lots of celebrities are endorsing it, people that I love, and also booktubers that I love. So I'm like, okay, well, if those two worlds that I look into so often for a really good read are both telling me that I should read this awesome memoir, then I should do it. I do know that it's about a woman who has a very unorthodox family, and they don't want her to really do anything mainstream, like go to a doctor or go to school, anything like that. And it's very different than how she was raised. And so she tells her story about her childhood and living in that unorthodox environment and going into a more mainstream cultured life. And so I'm really kind of here for it, and I really want to see what this memoir ends up being like, if it really touches me as much as it's touched other people. So that's why I have this. Another book I'm very excited for is this book called The Library Book by Susan Orleans. This book is also another type of memoir about a librarian during the Los Angeles Public Library fire back in the day. I can't remember what year that happened. I want to say sometime in the 60s. And I've never actually been to the Los Angeles Public Library, the original one that's in downtown LA. So I'm hoping that after reading this book, maybe I'll be inspired to do a little field trip, go down there and actually check it out. Yeah, if anybody's interested in coming with me after I'm done with this book, hit me up. We can go check it out. Or if you want to read this along with me and then we take a trip, I'm down for that too. Both sound like awesome experiences. But yeah, I'm really kind of interested to see if I learn anything really cool about LA in here. I always feel like those kind of books are really awesome when you learn things about the city that you've lived in your entire life, and you learn, you know, a bunch of new things about them, or even about cool places in the area, especially restaurants. Y'all know I love food. So yeah, the library book. And lastly, I have 3 books on the way from my book club I said at the beginning of this video. And so the books that are coming are Beyond the Point by Claire Gibson. And this book is about 3 women who end up joining a military school or military boot camp or something like that the day before 9/11 happens. It's fiction. It's a historical fiction, which I should note, I said in my last book I'm not into historical fiction. After making that video, I realized that I am into historical fiction. I guess it's just a certain type of historical fiction that I like. That book, The Island of Sea Women, did not fall within that category of a book that I would read that's historical fiction. I would say more like World War and that's it. Which brings me to The Age of Light by Whitney Scherer, and this book is actually a book about a romance that ensues during World War II, and I mean, I'm just kind of here for it. I love romance stories that are like forbidden love or tough love kind of stories. And also, the last one is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I've never actually read a book by the author Kristen Hanna, but she has a lot of historical fiction books that are getting tons of attention. Like, there's almost no place you can go that sells books and there isn't a Kristen Hanna book there. I actually went to Target today and bought the library book, and while I was there, I saw The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I almost was tempted to buy it, but I was like, dude, why would you do that? You have it coming to you in a few days. So, I mean, that just goes to show what a book addict I am. Like, I need to stop. Well, anyways, that concludes all the books that I plan to read this month. What I don't get to this month, I'm sure I'll get to next month. It'll be part of my May TBR. And by the way, if you guys aren't familiar with what a TBR is to be read. So this is my month picks for to be read this April. This is a very optimistic TBR. I have no doubt that I will not read all of these books, but I'm hoping to get to at least 12 of the 14 of them. I think there are 14 in total here. Okay, and then my actual TBR book stack in my room, I think totals at like 22 or 24 books or something like that. I'm actually insane. Like, I have a full-blown library in my bedroom. It's embarrassing. And I'm still out here buying books. Like, someone send me help. Please, send me help. Thank you. Also, be sure to like and subscribe this video. Leave comments. I love comments, especially if you guys are gonna give me constructive criticism. I need it. And also, be sure to follow me on Instagram. I post about my books all the time on Instagram as well. So if you guys want to keep track of what I'm reading actually in that current moment, my Instagram is the best thing to follow me on, because I'm always posting when I'm currently reading, how many books I've finished so far for the year. And I also like to get some suggestions in there too. So if people have anything they'd like to comment and tell me that I should read it, I'm here for that too. Or drop them in my comments below. And subscribe, you know, do that too. I'm new to this. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys. No idea at all. See you next time.